sure you're getting online.
I get everybody?
I think so.
So I know everyone has heard of Sacagawea from elementary history class, but in those early years, it seems like historical figures, the way they're taught to us, the information isn't always accurate, or it's sugar-coated, or it's just completely not true. For example, I didn't even know that Sacagawea was up here in North Dakota at all until I moved out here, and I also didn't know that it's also pronounced sacagawea. I thought it was just Sacagawea. So, like me, you might not know things about her or her story as well. I've done my research, and I feel it's important for everyone to know her whole story. I want to share her history, her relevance to North Dakota, and her experience with Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. You're going to hear about her life leading up to the journey and the journey itself. So I want to start from the beginning, which is present-day northeastern Idaho. According to biography.com, she was born in 1788 to a tribe known as the Shoshones. Those early years aren't really tracked by historians, but they do know she was an interpreter for a tribe until the year 1800. That year, unfortunately, her tribe got raided by an enemy tribe known as the Hidatsa, and she was captured and brought back to their homeland, which is now present-day southwestern North Dakota. They have a tribe there, the Hidatsa Mandan tribe. From there, she was sold to a French-Canadian trapper named Toussaint Charbonneau, very French name. And he made her his wife, and they lived there in the Hidatsa Mandan villages. So you can see that she was only 12 years old in 1800, so she faced so many hardships. It was a different time, but it's just crazy to think about. But in 1804, everything kind of started to look up for her and her husband when the two men known as Meriwether Lewis and William Clark came to town. These two were looking for people to add to their journey, their group was known as the Corps of Discovery. But winter was approaching, and they decided to stop there and make camp. It's now known as Fort Mandan. Charbonneau knew how to speak French, English, and Hidatsa, and Sacagawea knew how to speak Hidatsa and Shoshone, and she also knew the Shoshone heritage. So it wasn't long until Lewis and Clark showed interest in the couple. Though Sacagawea was expecting her first child, they decided to join the Corps of Discovery on their journey. And that following February 11th, 1805, she gave birth to her son. As you can see on the coin that she is on, Jean-Baptiste Charbonneau, and he ended up being the youngest person in the expedition. So that following April, they headed westward, and Sacagawea, to me, I mean Sacagawea is correct, but according to Lewis and Clark's journey entries, she was a great help to the journey. To quote one of their entries exactly, they say, "She collects wild fruits and roots, attends to the horses or assists in that duty. She cooks, she dresses the skins and makes all of the apparel. She collects wood and makes fires, arranges and forms the lodges, and when they travel, she takes charge of all the baggage." So you can see how much help she was on this journey. She did so much for them. And Sacagawea had this calmness about her that didn't go unnoticed, according to PBS.com. And on May 14th, 1805, one of the boats that they were on capsized, and she was able to remain calm during this unfortunate accident and retrieve a lot of the important stuff that could have been lost without her. Later on in August, she proved her importance again when they reached the Shoshone tribe. tribes. Without her interpreting and being a mediator between the two groups, they probably wouldn't have been able to get the horses and guides that they desperately needed. But after the... Is that still on? Is it still going?
Yeah.
But after the Shoshones, it was all uncharted territory, and none of them knew exactly where they're going. But so they faced many hardships, especially going over those mountains in Idaho. It was freezing cold weather. There was starvation. But according to one of Clark's journal entries, Sacagawea was a token of peace, and she was able to reconcile with the natives, which made the journey a lot easier. So later on in November 7th, everything started to look up. Clark writes, "Ocean in view, oh the joy! The corpse of Discovery made it to the Pacific, but not without hardships, and without Sacagawea, they may not have been able to conquer some of them." Sacagawea was a strong woman that overcame so much in her short life, and being one of the first female explorers, it's no surprise why she made history and why she landed on why she's the only female on USD currency. So I'm glad I got to share her story and how she lived in Mandan and her experience with Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. And now that you've heard her life leading up to the quest and the ups and downs of the journey itself, I hope you can see what you were taught and you weren't taught. And it brings up the importance of questioning everything you were taught. If her story was altered or sugar-coated or just completely wrong for how you were taught, what else was?